Hey, folks. So we don't have anybody on just yet, but I wanted to go live for a bunch of different reasons today. There's been a whole lot of discussion. Let me just clean this up a little bit. Hopefully the sound is okay. I know the picture is okay. I put some lights up. I really didn't feel like going down into the basement to do this. I just got done with my treatment. My last treatment for a while, hopefully. And I saw a flurry of posts and video um, that I guess I'm going to react to in the internet sense of the word, in the YouTube sense of the word, not like, and nothing negative here, guys. I did want to start off with one thing, definitely though. Turning off my sound on my phone. The first thing. So several things. All of this will all have to do with what I expect to see from Carrera this weekend, and just generally about specifically about the process for what I had been involved with when I had worked for Carrera and then before SCX and Skelectric as well. Because I've dealt with the NASCAR folks directly a number of times. And um, I've seen a lot of kind of wild speculation about what we might see. And I just want to talk about what I believe we'll see based on the experience that I've had over the years with them. Um, However, first, and not most importantly, anyway, first, my coverage of Toy Fair in New York and basically everything here I do on the channel is supported um, with the support from LEV Hobbies. I know you all hear me talk about them all the time. I always have them at the beginning of my Friday news video as the little lead in, but they're not just the sponsor of me and the channel. They're a massive supporter of mine, uh, professionally as well as personally. I've known them literally since I had been working in the hobby as someone doing marketing when I worked for SCX and for Carrera, and it's important for me to acknowledge that and to there's more than just a business relationship. They're good people, and so I wanted to set that there to begin with. Now the Carrera stuff. Okay, I do have notes as on Talking Utter Slot. They like to say the bus ticket, which is a little tablet that I have that I take notes on more than you needed to know. Um, so, how did this news become available? Good place to start. So, Harry Wise was the first person to find this news. How did Harry find it? Harry was given a heads up, I believe, by Carrera of America. Carrera of America uploaded a press release to PR Newswire, I believe is the website. If Harry's here, he can feel free to post the link, or if John Albright's here, he can feel free to post the link. I'm not going to be link posting now because I'm talking, but now I'm drinking some water. Sorry, I didn't dress for the occasion. Like I said, I just had the last of a pair of treatments this year. So Harry found the news. Harry was told about the news that was uploaded to, I believe it is PR Newswire. It's a website that will publish press releases. And so this news wasn't leaked by Carrera. This news wasn't leaked by Harry. Harry didn't show this news before he was supposed to. A couple of folks, myself, obviously Travis mentioned it this morning on his this morning. Yeah, this morning on his regular news updates, and characterized it as something that maybe had been leaked by Harry. It's not the case. Obviously, it was a press release that was uploaded. This was an official Carrera of America press release. There we are, ticking that box. Just making sure that people understand how this news came about, where it came about, from whom it came about. Carrera, and then Harry posted it, and then I, in my exuberance, did a breathless video in between assignments yesterday before I went and did another assignment. There we are. Okay, so that box is ticked. Now we're going to get into the I guess I would call it managing expectations. Why would I call it that? Well, because I think people have wildly, and this is fine. I know people get excited when they hear about a new possibility for kind of what's coming. Hey, Harry, I see you commenting there. Please post the link if you have it at your fingertips for the PR press wire. I think is where you found the press release from COA. So hey, Mikey, because I want people to be clear about where and how and why you got this news, and there we are. Perfect, Harry. Perfect. PR Newswire. Hey, I was right. I was right. So please, everybody, refer to that link. That's where Harry got the link, got the news. Harry was given that heads up by Carrera of America. Okay, as I said before, box is ticked. That's where that came from. By the way, Harry has a long history of helping people do research and not product management, product research, and like choosing which liveries and which cars and things like that. That, I mean, goes back to I don't even know when, before 2000. So he's been doing real work with real companies behind the scenes for longer than I've been back in the modern era of the hobby, and doesn't really get any credit for, I mean, shaping much of the modern hobby that we have, despite what folks might think. He's been there from the beginning of the modern era, which is about 2000, probably a little before, when he and Carrera had been talking about a whole variety of things. Anyway, we're going to be here for a while, guys. Hope you got a drink of water like I do. Well, no, you deserve it, Harry. So let's start with scale, I guess. I have a yeah, Harry, please get a refill of coffee. As I said, I have a bunch of notes here because there's a ton of topics that I believe will all play into what we will see, what I will see, what I will be shown, what I'll be told on and off the record during Toy Fair Saturday when I am there with the folks. I do plan on leaving tomorrow morning for New York. It's about a 5-hour drive, and so far I feel fine today. I'm pretty tired after the treatment that I had. Hey, Shotgun Dave. So here, let me make actually Shotgun Dave is a moderator now. There we go. Okay, so scale. Scale is super important to any license. There are evidently a bunch of other licenses that Carrera is going to be talking about during Toy Fair in New York, some of which are slot car related, and then some of which are just kind of toy related, which I'm very excited to talk to them about as well, because while this is slot car news, I like to, as much as possible, talk about the whole company, because the whole company, slot car company, a hobby company, whatever, the health of the whole company makes quite a bit of difference to what a company can release as far as the toy cars, the slot cars that we love. So 1/43rd scale. Let's just get this out of the way. A lot of folks who have 1/32nd scale probably don't really care much about 1/43rd scale. I'm not here to make you care about it, but you need to understand and take into your heart the importance of 1/43rd scale overall to, well, specifically Carrera and small scale in general, to the hobby, because small cars, not necessarily HO, but, well, I guess Hornby does make HO scale cars. And then 1/43rd scale and 1/50th scale, which is what the Carrera First battery operated sets are. They're 1/50th scale. 1/43rd scale is the Carrera Go, and the well, just Carrera Go, and Go Plus. Um, what I believe we will see is we will see at least two 1/43rd scale sets. Then probably what will be in the offing is we will see or I will be told I will not be able to see another 1/43rd scale set or two, probably, that will hopefully be marketed to big box Walmart, as well as uh, places like Hobby Lobby and Hobby Towns, because 1/43rd scale is really what keeps the lights on, at, well, keeps the lights on. Yes, it keeps the lights on at places like Carrera. They do a lot of business. They do 10 times more business, I think, could probably conservatively, in just 1/43rd scale as a direct sale to the big box companies. So the driving engine of this new license, of the NASCAR license, I know you don't want to hear this. Probably you don't want to hear it, but you need to hear it because you need to know really what's going on. Is a low cost, low price sets that'll be sold to big box stores in 1/43rd scale. What Walmart will want is a set that they can sell every day for $19.99. They'll want to go out around Christmas at around $9.99. This would be a small oval. They won't want to pay. Well, I don't talk about what they won't want to pay, but it'll be minuscule, quite frankly. So there will be, I would say, at least probably two, maybe three NASCAR Go sets, and this is, we're talking about 2024 here for the initial release, because that's when we're going to get these cars. We're getting in 2024. We will get. I'm calling it, and you all can say, "Hey, Dave, you're full of shit. You were wrong." Uh, Feel free. Plenty of people do. That you'll see three sets in Carrera's catalog: small, medium, and large. Let's call it what it is. Let's call it a track, shall we? You'll see small, medium, and large. What you won't see is at least two, maybe three sets that will be offered to big box stores, probably exclusives to big box stores. If I'm told about these, I probably won't be allowed to talk about them, but I'll give you the Carol Burnett heads up after the fact, maybe. Being saucy. Although maybe Carrera's watching this now and they'll know that means I'm being saucy. Uh, so I'd say Carrera will probably offer somewhere around. I used to get these spec sheets when we would go to the sales meetings, and they would spec out maybe as many as 30 sets that would be go sets, 1/43rd scale sets that would be offered to big box stores and key accounts is what they call them. So, and they would just spec out these sets. They would be, like these wouldn't be sets that would be made. They would just like do these as an offering, as a sell sheet, basically. Any salesperson knows what a sell sheet is. That's what I expect. 3 in the catalog, 3 offered to big box, and I would expect probably a small to a medium set in Evolution. I would definitely expect a digital 132 set. And probably that's it for sets. Related to sets is obviously scale. Notice I didn't mention 124 scale. There is no way in hell. There is no way in hell they could make money with it. There is no way in hell. It's 124. It's such a small market for Carrera. It's a small market for Carrera for their home market. It's minuscule here in the US. Even if the numbers have gone up since I left, probably they have. I've been told they've gone up quite a bit. God bless if they have. I love it. However, I don't think that it makes any sense to do 124 scale for NASCAR or Carrera. I hope they aren't doing it for one reasons, because I want them to succeed at this. I want them to make lots of money. I want them to be more available for an initial release. I want the vast majority of it to be go. I know it will. These people know what they're doing as far as sales goes. They know that they need to maximize the license initially, maximize sales, and Go is going to be the driver of that. Evolution will drive, probably 2 or 3 thousand sets if they're lucky, and maybe 1,500 sets if they're lucky with digital 132. I think what we'll see is, at least initially, we're going to talk about cars now specifically. We're going to see initially 2 cars, 2 different liveries. Well, let me think about this a little bit. I think there will be a special set only car in either or both of the, what I'm guessing, will be a Evolution set and a digital 132 set. I'm thinking just to kind of force you to buy the set. They've done this in the past. Some of the same product people are still in place since I was there, and the thinking being, it'll drive set sales for some people to have a special set only car in one or both of the sets in the larger scale. This also helps them amortize the mold a little bit, and kind of yeah. So for the larger scale stuff, I really don't think we'll see 4 total cars initially. I think we'll see 1 that'll carry over from analog and digital, or maybe 2, and then probably a third that will be in one or both of the sets that I'm guessing. All of this is conjecture, by the way, based on what I've seen, what I've dealt with in the past, because, I want to emphasize this, I've dealt with these people before, the NASCAR people before, a number of times. With SCX a few times, even though I was only there for 2 years. With Carrera, I was there for a little over 7 years. I was in Charlotte at least 3 times for Carrera, I think, at NASCAR HQ. One time we were with, well, I'll tell you about the meeting in a second that we had with them. But so I'm basing all of what I'm talking about on what I've been present when the top NASCAR toy brand product managing line people have asked for and what we've talked about. And also having talked with the Walmart buyer on a number of occasions. One of the last times was when I was in Texas at the Dallas Toy Fair, when my boss Ed and I sat down when we were with Tim Mulhall. This was with Hornby and with Justin when we were um, talking with Walmart about set expectations about what they wanted. So I have quite a bit of experience um, listening to what buyers from these big places want. So yes, this is conjecture, but like I said, I've sat down with these people on a number of occasions. I've I've heard this discussion so many times, and frankly, this is another reason why I want to talk about this because some of what has been talked about online, some of these expectations that folks that you all are having are wildly, well, frankly, wrong. um, and I know it's not based on anything other than loving uh, the hobby. I love it too. So, but I need to pull the expectations back a little bit, I think, because we're not going to see NASCAR trucks. We're not going to see 124 scale. We're not going to see, uh, all of this other stuff done all at one time. What we'll see is a very targeted, focused set of releases for next year, for 2024, and then that'll be the basis for it's. I'm sure this is a several year commitment. I know it is. I forget exactly. Harry posted the press release again from PR Presswire. I would say this is a 3 to 5 year commitment. I would say three at the least, probably five at the most, because beyond that, you don't want to get too far out. That's not any comment about anything else other than you just don't want to get too far out ahead of licenses and deals and stuff like that. So uh, we need to just understand, guys, what I think we will see. It's going to be limited. It's going to be very, very narrow, like that. Like squeeze the cheeks out of me. There we go. Oh, I look so thin. Wait, do I? Oh, look at that. Oh, so much thinner. Oh, that's better. Yes. Anyway, um, um, I mean, this is a business. Everyone needs to make money doing this, and to uh, make sure ads will be running for some viewers. Okay, sorry about this, guys. We got. Let's see if I skip these ads? Am I allowed to? Evidently, I'm allowed to. Yes, there we go. Um, uh, so where was I? Oh, yes. Okay, so we're going to see a fairly narrow release. Okay, going to talk about the Hendrick aspect of this. But first, we have to back up. So there's when I was talking with NASCAR a few years ago, um, we met in Charlotte at the HQ, and I met with two main toy line marketing brand people, um, Heather and I think John, and we would uh, we would meet with them at Toy Fair every year, and they had, we would have the same conversation every year. They would show us, their new deck each year, their new on an iPad. Hey, Smart Race, cheers! Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. Um, we would talk every year about what NASCAR was going to do, and they would show us their numbers. I don't know why I still have my shoes on. Um, and they would try to get us to do the NASCAR license. So what NASCAR would NASCAR is kind of notoriously not difficult to deal with, because they actually do make the process. They do. make the process reasonably easy to work through. Um, but there's a lot to work through. So they have ways of working through the process. And this is deep in the weeds, guys. I'm sorry about this, but you need to know this kind of thing. And it's nothing that I would be able to get uh, anyone to talk about on camera because it's really in the weeds and it gets into things that maybe they're limited to talk about. And I am not now because I don't work for any company anymore. But you need to know this because it goes into all of these decisions that get made. There's this thing, or was this thing called the trust that NASCAR has. I believe that's what it was called. It was something 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 trust, and you could work within the trust, or which means that you could make deal. You made a deal with NASCAR as a whole, and then the process got very very streamlined. What you would do is NASCAR would kind of work on your behalf. Um, to get approvals with now the GM approval, of course, would have to happen because it's a GM car we're talking about now, the Camaro. That's another topic we're going to get into in a little bit. So NASCAR will work kind of on your behalf. They'll streamline the process, let's say. What does that mean? So if you work in the trust, and if this is something that's went away, this is old news, but this is how it had been presented to me years ago. And as late as 2020, right before COVID hit and I got let go, I met with the probably current NASCAR toy woman. I think her name was Julia, and at Toy Fair in New York with Ed and Justin and I, and we talked about it with her. And I frankly kind of read her the riot act about what we would expect if Skelectric was going to be doing this kind of thing. Um, so what? So the trust means if you work within the trust, you submit all of your ideas, your product renderings, your product samples, your box art into one platform uh, portal, basically. Within that, they would kind of help you get team approval, which you need, overall NASCAR approval, which you need, driver approval, which you need, contingency logos, which you need, major sponsors, which you need. It's a nightmare. See, you got 5. You haven't even made a mold yet. You haven't even done anything other than set your lumpy researcher, in this case, that was me, about figuring out who to make a slot car out of. You have your designer. In this case, it would be the design director who who Harry and I both know, Gunther, in Germany at Carrera. He would do they have elevation drawings, front, rear, side, top, front, rear, left, right, side, top. No bottom needed. um, and they do decorations. They show it's just pictures basically of what the livery would look like. You submit that file to NASCAR through the trust, through the portal, whatever it is. That goes through NASCAR's approval. All those other people that I talked about. Essentially, at least 5 entities have to do that. But what that also means is, and this is where people need to pay close attention, that where that also means is implied in that is that you will, as a toy making company, basically do most of the field of cars. And I want to, these are things that NASCAR themselves linked together in the, getting dry again here, sorry. That NASCAR themselves linked in the trust idea that if you were going through the trust, implied in that process was that you would be doing too much BS. Well, Gladstone, you're welcome to leave because go to hell. People need to understand this stuff. If you don't care, you don't belong here. Whatever. They're not going to use existing molds. There, leave, please. They Uh, so this is why what I believe has been done is there will be um, only one team, because I believe what's happened is this has been done outside of the trust directly with Hendrick Motorsports. Um, why do I think this? Because it's just been done with Hendrick Motorsports. Why also do I think this? It's because they'll be able to more easily market, and it's definitely easier for hold on, let's put this guy in timeout because he's a dick. um they will hopefully be more easy. It'll be more easy for Carrera to market just Hendrick. Also, um well, the expectation was that when we met with NASCAR, that if we were going to do this through what's called the trust, that we would that we would make a commitment to do most of the field. The problem is once you get past the top two or three drivers, um, it drops off by like a factor of interest, who people will buy a slot car of. So um, it's just never going to happen. So the guys that are in 10th place and lower, essentially you're not going to sell any slot cars of that. I had this confirmed. I visited one of the largest diecast dealers in the South, I believe, uh, on my way on a drive one time, and had a long talk with him about what about diecast in general. And it's a nightmare for them to try to keep up with all of the releases of different liveries and things like that. So let's kind of get to cars now, which I know kind of is a lot of what people like to really want to talk about. But I needed to talk about the very in the weeds kind of thing, as Gladstone Gobbler, whatever, um, uh, mentioned. He just wants to know about the cars and shut up about the rest. Well, you need to know about this other stuff because you should be informed about what's going on. You need to understand that how much goes into this decision, and it's just kind of dumb to jump in with uh, someone announces a license, and there's this reaction from this nitwit. Um, the other thing is to understand, we're getting into cars now. NASCAR doesn't care about older liveries on cars. They're very specific when they want to discuss this kind of thing with you. They want current cars, current mold, current livery, not the weekend special at Talladega or the tribute special for one weekend or something. That's called uh, what's in the business is called a 90-day license. A team will only have, let's say, Mountain Dew. It's perfect idea. Uh, it's the Mountain Dew that Darrell Waltrip used to race, that they would race from weekend to weekend, like maybe once or twice during the year. NASCAR folks know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, or Gatorade, actually, too, rather. You couldn't do any of those like single race liveries because the team the team themselves, the real racing team, would only have a 90-day license to market, produce, run, and then stop that car. So the team themselves wouldn't have the rights to and wouldn't want to promote those one-off short-term livery cars. They want to promote their brand. What's their brand, guys? Their brand is their normally raced week in, week out car, that they're out there with the big billboard on the car, the big square thing. It's like this is them. This is, who their main sponsor is. That is what they want to promote only. That is what the team wants to promote. That is what NASCAR wants to promote. NASCAR is nearly always very targeted about this. They don't care about like the Superbirds and stuff that Carrera did. Those cars that we did while I was there, and even since then, I believe I'll speak about when I was there. Those were not NASCARs. They were USAC cars, right, Harry? If you're still here, um, they are. I intentionally picked them to get around the NASCAR license. The NASCAR folks would say when they would come to Toy Fair in New York and see, me doing the Wendell Scott car or the Sal Tovella car or the Pikes Peak, the Hill Climb car. These were not NASCARs. They would say, "Oh, look, you've done NASCARs. You didn't ask us." I said, "No, those are USAC cars. I don't need to ask you. those are not. You don't own those. You can't tell me not to do them. You can't charge me for the license." Next. So that's why. I don't. NASCAR doesn't care about doing Superbirds and Torinos and things like that. They won't allow anyone to put. There you go, Harry Arca too. Exactly. Andy Hampton. Exactly. Harry knows. Anybody that knows knows. Those are not NASCARs. Not. Um, so they're not going to allow, and this goes back to other videos that I've seen. I know, and I'm not faulting Travis for this morning. He doesn't understand this probably, and a lot of people don't. I'm not faulting him or poking fun, but you got to understand NASCAR does not want to have fake liveries on cars. They won't allow it. If you do a NASCAR license as part of a license with somebody, you essentially give them control over what you do. NASCAR only wants to promote what they do, not what they don't. Okay, so to be clear about this, they're not going to put. And again, I'm not making fun of Travis. I am absolutely not. There's been a lot of speculation about this. Oh, they could put modern liveries on old cars and old liveries on modern cars. NASCAR will not allow that unless there's been some massive change, and it would be lovely. It's not going to happen. So you will see a few liveries from these Hendrick drivers on the modern Camaro. Now let's get to the Camaro. Okay, the Camaro is going to stop being made next year. I've seen numerous press releases about this. If anybody, and I mean anybody, have any links, not, well, I heard, because that's nonsense, or, well, I read somewhere, give me a freaking link to where they are going to be making the Camaro after 2024. They are not. Chevy is not. That means that a decision was made to go ahead, get the NASCAR license by Carrera, by the way, to get the NASCAR license, make a Camaro in the last year when they could make a Camaro with probably only 4 liveries on the car, as many as 4, for 1 year, and then they can't use that mold again, more than likely. Probably. GM is fairly specific about these things, usually, if I remember right, about what they would allow to do. And NASCAR is very specific about what they will allow on their approved molds, because these would be NASCAR specific approved molds. These are not a general Camaro. And for goodness sakes, guys, these are not the garage, whatever it was, the garage 56 24 NASCAR that wasn't a NASCAR body, or built by NASCAR or raced by NASCAR. It was a tube frame bespoke car with different aero on it that was raced at Le Mans, not a NASCAR. If you read really closely, guys, it said what it was. It wasn't a NASCAR. any of it. Jesus God. So they're not going to make that. They probably won't be able to make that car because it's not the right body. If they've made it, that would be great. And feel free to say, "Oh, you were wrong, Dave. You were wrong." I'll be very happy to eat that crow. Very happy, because it would be great if they do. Um, it would be awesome. I don't think they'll allow it. I don't think NASCAR or Chevy will allow it, um, because it's not the right body. NASCAR cares about that. Okay, so they're only going to be able to make 1 year's worth of cars. In 2024, they'll be releasing a bunch of Go, probably probably a lot of Go sets. Like I said, probably three, and then probably one analog and probably one digital, maybe more, but probably at a minimum. And then 3 to maybe 4 cars in both Go, in both 143rd and 132 digital and analog. There you go. So that's what, and then there will be, and I had have this confirmed. This is a bit of actual news. New cars, car. I forget if it was singular or plural, for Carrera for 2025. You heard that now. 41 minutes and 30 seconds into this, and God more power to you if you watched me rant this long and you're still here. Thank you to 65 people for still being here. Cheers. So yes, this is a multi-year thing. That means now we're going to get into more weeds and more dull marketing stuff that frankly you should give a shit about. What will make this successful? Someone actually asked that, what do you think this turnaround? It was a turnaround. So what will make this successful? This is the crux of what I basically read the riot act to. I think her name was Julia. She's a very sweet young woman, but at the time not very experienced. She was brand new, which is okay. But so I laid out for her what I would expect when I was U.S. brand manager for Hornby, for Scalextric, uh, Corgi, Airfix, blah blah. I would expect to be part of the at track weekend stuff for NASCAR. NASCAR, I think, has easy access to, or controls access to, I think maybe 3 tracks only, kind of within the way they operate. And they were, let's say, they were able to give me free access, because I've done a number of events with Carrera with NASCAR. I was on the beach before the final race at Miami Homestead one year. We were literally on the beach in Miami. We did it was great. And then I did NASCAR's the Fan Fest thing that they do in Charlotte. I did that, I think, at least twice. And anyway, it was a lot of fun. God, it was a lot of work. So along with the NASCAR license, you do get some benefits. Hey, Patriot, cheers! Thanks for showing up. You do get quite a bit of benefits. I mean, you spend a lot of money, and there's a lot of expectations. But what you do is you get if you spend the money to get the license gives you access to what you need. Really, is the exposure. All of this is dependent on exposure. What was the turnaround? The turnaround was probably Carrera deciding, okay, we're at this edge where now we want to really boost up our American presence, and really, we're going to spend a lot of money on this, and we're going to go for the NASCAR license. We're going to go all in. This is what I'm expecting, is that they're going to get access at track for a few events. Harry, thanks for sticking around, Harry. Access at track for a few events, probably 2 to 3 key track races for 2024. I would say probably no more than that. What they have at the track is NASCAR has basically a traveling circus, a traveling road show that is a marketing company that puts up all of the at track booths, all of the marketing activations, they call them. And they help, they pull in with a bunch of 18 wheelers to every track, and they put up all the booths. They put up like a tent, kind of a tent city. Not all the booths, I shouldn't say that, but most of them, most of like the main kind of fairway, not fairway. Anyway, they put up a whole area of sales. In that area, companies can pay to play, and they can put up whatever they want for displays. We had talked to them about this. That's how I know about this stuff. It's expensive as hell. If you want to be a vendor at a NASCAR event, you can do that as well outside of that area, but also kind of in the infield, or kind of not in the infield, but you know what I mean, like parking area, kind of in the main marketing and sales area. Just to do that is somewhere in a minimum of $30,000 a weekend. So, and this was years ago when I had talked to them about this. So, if you know anything about marketing, you know anything about return on investment, and this is really weedsy, guys, but gets to the heart of what you need to understand about costs associated with doing the NASCAR license that you don't understand. I thought NASCAR didn't own the cars. They don't. They own everything. They own they own everything basically. So they control everything. Certainly at the races. So when I had talked with a vendor who was there, this is a separate vendor. This is not like a NASCAR person or whatever. This was just a guy that would do races. He said he spent $30,000 a weekend for him and a team of people to be there at the track, food, hotel, space, power. You have to pay for power. You have to pay for your space. You have to pay for everything. It's a profit center for NASCAR. So you have to pay for all this stuff. Now, if you know anything about investing money when you're doing return on investment for business, I know there's probably a fair amount of you out there that do this. So walk with me, will you? If you spend $30,000, what do you expect is your ROI, your return on investment? Well, 10 times that, right? So if you spend 30,000, you expect, say it with me, 300,000 in sales. That would probably be gross sales, not net sales, not profit. You will never, and I mean never, sell $30,000 worth of slot cars and or sets. And I know there's ads going on now. Sorry, guys. I can't do anything about that. It's YouTube. It is profoundly expensive to do any kind of expense, any kind of sales, any kind of real marketing. This is the core of what hobbyists don't understand about what the real cost is to really doing slot cars, doing licensing, doing it right, doing it well, have it being a real business. This is not pie in the sky. This is not, oh, maybe. This is not, I heard. This is not whatever. These are based on conversations I have actually had over 12, 13, 14, whatever years, because I was consulting for about a year before I started working full time. So it's the profound cost of, you don't just get the NASCAR license and all of a sudden you just make tens of thousands of dollars. It's not how it works. Not at all. You will spend at least probably, I don't know what mold costs are now, but I can't believe they've gone down, because let's face it, costs don't go down, they only go up. That's capitalism. So NASCAR, a mold, even for a fairly basic body, would be $60,000. This is just the mold, just cutting the mold, not the cost of the license, not cost of production, not cost of shipping, not cost of marketing, which, slot car companies spend precious little on actual marketing. They don't have nobody that actually does marketing, because I was the last one to do any marketing as a marketing job here in North America for 3 different companies. So the cost of all of this, let's say you're doing the NASCAR license. Okay, good. You spent $60,000 minimum for a new mold minimum. You're going to spend 3 months at least or more, a couple hours a week with a team of 4 or 5 people working on just this part of your catalog. So, probably, let's say 4 people, let's say 3 hours a week, 4 hours a week, 10 hours a week. All of that cost gets figured in. You're going to have somebody that's going to be the lead on the project. They're going to spend a lot more of their time on this. That takes away their time from other things. You're paying them. That's part of their job. Then let's say you pay NASCAR. They're going to want what NASCAR usually wants, and I'm not going to say exactly the numbers. I don't remember exactly, so I shouldn't say. What they will want, there'll be 2 options for payment. There'll be a flat fee or a fee, as well as then a percentage of each sale. That's very difficult to manage. Managing sales of each item, which is not how sales of each item to be paid then into a fee, is not how Carrera, or frankly anybody, wants to do it. They would rather say, okay, we want to pay you X number of dollars. I forget what the number was, so I shouldn't guess. It's a lot, not Ferrari a lot, but maybe Corvette a lot. Certainly Honda Civic a lot, if you know what I mean. Maybe a little less, but not much for the license. So you spent money on the license. You spent money on the time to make the mold that you will make. That's got to be factored in. You spent the money on the time to start the process. Now, okay, we're going to do it, right? Now we have to pay, if it's inside of the trust, probably all that gets factored into the trust, with licensing fees for each contingency logo, the driver's name use, the team's name use, the NASCAR use, the GM, as I said. GM will, Steve, prove that to me, because there's no reason for, Steve says, sounds like NASCAR will allow the Camaro to continue beyond 2024. Prove that to me, because they are not going to be making the Camaro after that. GM won't want to promote the Camaro of a car that's not being made. NASCAR wouldn't want a Camaro to be raced of a car that's being made, because win on Sunday, sell what on Monday? Does that make any sense? I'm just saying. If you have a link, just say you have a link, and I'll let you post it the roundabout way. But a lot of people have said this about, sounds like they'll be able to race it beyond after it's being made. It makes no sense and goes 100% against everything that I know NASCAR in the past has told me directly about what they like to do. Yeah. So if anybody has any proof of that, because I've read some of that as well, but if people are being vague about it in an article, that doesn't mean anything. You have to understand what you're reading, understand where it's being reported to, because if it's on some blog that's not a real journalist, I'm sorry, we do real journalism here, not those words. I'm not going to get anyone triggered here. Fake news. I have a pet peeve about people having an issue with journalists because I am really a journalist, and I only cite actual sources and I call out vagaries. Um, so they're going to spend a whole lot of money, Carrera will, for the privilege of being licensed. Hopefully that gets them at track. The next part of that is on the NASCAR website, on NASCAR.com. This is hugely important. I told this to the woman that we had talked with. I want to be at the track. You're going to help me do that. Probably you're going to give me the space for free. I'm not going to add for. I should be resting, but I'm all fired up. I'm actually feeling pretty good. I slept during the treatment today, Gary or Graham. So they're gonna. So I kind of read the woman the riot act saying, "Look, we need these things from you if we're going to get this license. We need to be on the website. We need to be at the track. We need to be on your broadcast." They control the broadcast. Fox is part of the promotions marketing team. It is not an event they are covering. They are part of the event. They are part of the marketing team. NASCAR has probably complete control over what gets talked about, general topics for sure, general topics. I'm sure they get sign off on. I'm sure they get sign off on set dressing. I'm sure they get sign off on story ideas. Why am I sure? Well, because NASCAR likes to get in there and be hands on. That's the polite way to say it. They're hands on folks. Gotta love it. They're good folks. They're good. They have every right to protect their brand, their IP, just like I do. Slot Car News, that's me, nobody else. I am Slot Car News. You can do Slot Car News. Find your own name for it, shall we? Let's not confuse people. So you need to be at the broadcast. You need to be at the track. You need to be in their marketing. This is part of what you do, what you expect, what I would expect, what Carrera should expect, what Carrera should have asked for. I hope they asked for, I hope they insisted upon getting at least those things to be at the table, to be at the track, to be with the teams, to be in the broadcast, to be part of the NASCAR family. So, Burn Dog, yes. So that gets to the idea of sales. What do they? The cars are going to be Camaros because that's what Hendrick, sorry, are racing this year. Beyond that, I don't know because I'm sure this is, or I'm not sure. I shouldn't be saying sure. Well, I am sure. I'm prepared to be wrong. I kind of hope I am. But if this was just a deal done with Hendrick Motorsports, which I believe it is just a deal done with Hendrick Motorsports, as I talked about outside of the trust, if the trust is something that still exists, I fully expect that they will just be doing that. They announced specifically the deal with Hendrick and NASCAR. And that's why it's worded that way, not just NASCAR. If it was just NASCAR, it might be other. Hey, Raul, it just might be other. It might be, if it was NASCAR, it would be other teams, maybe two, and maybe more than one mold. But this is why just Hendrick to start this year. And I had actually proposed the idea of we were trying to get this gets back to the idea of cars and kind of what we'll see and why. I had hoped that what I tried to get one year was I was bringing back a lot of the Chevy molds and adding in every Chevy mold that we could add in, which included well, it was frankly every old mold we had. And I wanted to add back in the COT as well. And I proposed the idea of actually doing all the Hendrick cars, the test cars from Daytona, just as, because they do testing in Daytona in when early January, and they just like do like a car with in flat primer with the numbers on them. And I thought, well, I mean, it's not the best, but it gets around the license of contingency logos. But it would allow us to do just specifically like I wanted to do Dale Jr. at the time. I wanted to do uh, Jeff Gordon at the time. I wanted to do Jimmy Johnson, and like as a 3-car pack, as like a digital pack of just test cars. So, question: how long do you think it will take before we see cars? 2 years? No, it's going to be next year, Raul. It's going to be 2024 for sure. It's going to be December of 2024. December of 2024 next year. Only Hendrick cars next year, and then new cars or cars or car for 2025. You heard it here first and exclusively. Slot Car News, the only one. Slot Car News. So I think this goes back to kind of how they will. I talked about the red tape. There's easy, not easy way to get through the red tape, but there's a lot of red tape to get through, but there's different ways of getting through it. And I believe the deal was just done with Hendrick to get through the red tape. And I kind of went through. You'll have to go back through and see why see it will be okay. Chevy will be able to race the Camaro for the foreseeable future. Okay, NorCal, yes. I did read that article. What does that article say? Foreseeable future. That's all that says. Doesn't mean anything. What it means is when everybody stops racing the Camaro in 2025, that's the foreseeable future. Because they don't know probably what's going to go on after that. So what I would expect is a brand new car for 2025. The Camaro won't race beyond that because Chevy doesn't want to promote a car that isn't being raced. Who does? Nobody does. NASCAR doesn't. NASCAR doesn't allow fake liveries on cars. NASCAR doesn't allow. GM is a little wishy-washy about that. They don't really have a problem with it, but NASCAR does not like fake liveries. They won't, if you're in a license with them, they won't allow fake liveries on cars. They don't like, they like promoting what's being raced. What's the phrase? Win on Sunday, win on Sunday, sell on Monday. Can't sell on Monday something that isn't real or isn't being made anymore in Mexico or wherever they make the Camaro. Actually, they make the Camaro in Canada, don't they? Yes, they do. So, yes, I read that too. I believe what that means is what I just said, that they will race it next year. They won't race it beyond that. A new car will be announced, shown for late in 2024, raced in 2025. And yeah, I agree. Burn Dog, Hendrick cars are a good start. They're always at the top. It makes sense to do them. And there you go. And that's what they're going to do. Other cars. I believe maybe they'll do other cars depending on whether this works or not. If it doesn't sell, I would expect, if it doesn't sell, I won't expect them to do anything else. I think it'll sell well enough. If NASCAR helps them, they do need help with co-marketing to really make this work. Just through their own channels, this will not sell enough to really make it work. They really need to sell a lot. And I mean, like, really a lot, like not, 2 or 3,000 domestic sales of 3 to 4 different liveries of cars. That's not a lot. I'm talking, they made 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 of each car, 20 or 30,000 of each, or well, whatever, picking numbers out of my butthole here. A lot of sets to to Walmart, to Target, to any of the toy stores online, to lots of big box places. They're going to have to sell this stuff by the pound. This is not stuff to the hobby companies. You'll never to the hobby shops. You'll never see this directly sold to them. The real money is in big box sales, and that's where they'll make their actual money. It'll be in Go. It'll be 10 times the amount that they'll sell in 132. And as I said before, if you're just joining, the chances of them doing 124 are minuscule. I will. What will I do if they sell a 124? I'll shave off my beard entirely. Whatever. It's so stupid. They're not going to do 124. They're going to do primarily Go 143rd, and you'll see 132 and you'll think, oh, look, it's the 132 to save the day. No, it's Go to save the day. It's 143rd to save the day, because that's really what's going to make the money for them. You're not going to see trucks either, by the way. You will. The NASCAR Truck Series really hasn't taken off. I saw one of the first years ago in 1995 or 96 in Bethlehem at the track there. Was really cool. But the truck series, it never took off. And if you see those, that's a colossal mistake, because those will just not sell. Sorry to say it, but they're not going to sell. On my notes, old liveries I've gone over. Yeah, I mean, so they sell. NASCAR have a brand which I'm sure some folks know about, Lionel. NASCAR, I believe, owns Lionel. Lionel was its own company. They're a diecast company. They make trains. Yes, they've been around forever. I'm very familiar with Lionel. My family are all, hey, guten Abend, danke, thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Lionel, my family are all trained people, so I'm very familiar with Lionel trains. I believe NASCAR owns Lionel. The NASCAR folks, the last time I saw them, they were walking around Toy Fair with Lionel badges on, identifying themselves as Lionel executives, not NASCAR executives. But so anyway, yeah, they do some of the old liveries on, or the old cars, in different ways and through different companies. They do the licenses, but it's very small when you see the sales at a big NASCAR diecast store. You see big displays. The entire store is just that, and it's all only officially licensed stuff, and it's stuff that is almost all just current NASCAR stuff, unless it's old stock leftover stuff, because they don't really care about promoting anything that isn't on the track. That's why I'm so strident about this. Why won't they make a Camaro past? And I'm not trying to be a jerk to anybody that's making the point. NorCal, I appreciate you jumping in, because it's good to see people wanting to be informed. And why I'm so strident about this, why I'm so definitive about this, is because NASCAR had been very, very, very clear, very clear about what they want: current on track stuff. That you can't promote races by stuff that isn't being raced. It's basic marketing, guys. It doesn't help them promote their brand whatsoever to have a winged warrior that, frankly, nearly nobody knows, who is actually at the track that's going to the races, know about, right? You don't see those cars at the track anymore. There's no such thing as a vintage NASCAR race. Jesus, what an idea. Should there be? Duh. Before every NASCAR race, why wouldn't there be? Why wouldn't there be a vintage, just like you see at every Lime Rock and Watkins Glen? I'm 2 hours south of Watkins Glen. Holy shit, trademarking vintage NASCAR race right now. You saw it here. Why doesn't NASCAR do that before every freaking NASCAR race, or before any NASCAR race? Get a bunch of those old fogies out there in their cars, drag them out there, get them out of the walker, unweld that door, let them get in there, or make them squeeze in through the hole. I'm having too much fun with this, aren't I? Get them out there, get them right back in the car, or anybody in the car with all those wing warriors. Get the freaking Torinos out there, get the Monte Carlos out there, get the goddamn COTs out there. What do I care? Get them out there. Make them love that old stuff again. Connect back with what NASCAR always says they're out there trying to support or trying to build is, like this aura around NASCAR. All of this nonsense about these old wives' tales that I would really love to see proven about them being moonshine runners. And well, that sounds all well and good, but did anybody actually ever have that happen to them besides what's his name from shit, Harry, help me back here. Help me out here. What's his name that did the one black car? It was unweld that door. Yeah, exactly. It's just like the oh god. I should know this. It wasn't Rick Hendrick. Got busted for moonshine running. Anyway, yeah, I mean, maybe that did happen from time to time. Not Jimmy Johnson. Smokey Eunuch. No, I'm not thinking of him. Jimmy Johnson. No, not Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson's a yuppie compared to Jimmy Johnson was a little word of advice. Junior Johnson. Exactly. Yes, Junior Johnson was the real Johnson here. Damn it, Jimmy Johnson was the Izod wearing. Yeah, exactly. He's considered a newbie by all the folks like Harry and whoever else. Anyway, none of this Jeff Gordon nonsense for us. Junior Johnson. Yes, I mean, okay, maybe he did that and maybe he got caught. Anyway, yeah, Jimmy. I know you meant Junior. It's okay. I'm getting fired up. Too much water here. Anyway, he says, "Hey Johnson." That's what she said. Yeah, I mean, it's like they only want to promote. Why am I getting ridiculous about this? Ads again. I'm sorry, I can't not make these. Not for me, Beer 30. I had that treatment today. It's technically not chemo, but it is. It's the same stuff, but I'm only getting 2 treatments. I don't know. It's water. I think the ads might be over. I don't know. Sorry, I can't do anything about the ads, guys. So yeah, I got getting a little caught up here and getting a little silly. I like to just kind of enjoy what I'm doing here. And I appreciate folks actually showing up for this nonsense. Fired up, just like Daytona. Yeah, I mean, I just there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that people who have actually been in the business, and that's why I take great pains to. I mean, it may sound like I'm tooting my own horn or whatever, but when you actually do this for a living, or in Harry's case, like actually Harry's actually been involved in the real discussions, the discussions that you don't hear about, the discussions that go on behind the scenes, and it really this the stuff that really matters, or really is stuff that most of you never hear about, and that's what that's why I get so fired up about kind of what I'm doing here, and what I really try to impress upon folks is that you got to know what you're talking about when you start talking about what might happen when you're reporting news, when you're reporting from a press release. And I'm not talking about Harry, by the way. Harry knows what not to say and step in it because he's an old hand at this. Harry knows what he's doing. And like I said, he's been involved in all of this. And it's important to listen to and digest information from folks who actually know what they're talking about with this. And I mean, it's just not casting aspersions at anybody, but when you're out there listening, you have to know what the source is for your news, how you go about reporting this kind of thing. You have to be very, very, very careful. And this is what this whole thing has been about, is managing expectations. It's been more than an hour, and I tried to go over as much with my notes about all the different topics that I felt were important. And whatever it is, Gustown Gobbler or whatever, some jerk got on here and said I was giving too much BS. This is not BS. If you want to be informed about more than just, hey, this is the new car, doesn't it look pretty? Or this is what I think might be done, all of that is useless to you as a consumer and to you as an invested member of the hobby, as somebody who, gives a shit about the hobby, gives a shit about the growth of the hobby beyond what's just the next newest thing. You got to know, you got to understand the process is long, it is hard. That's what she said. It is expensive. Again, what she said. Um, it is time consuming. She's saying a lot. There's a lot that goes on into this. By the time you all see that pretty car, me or anybody else talk about that pretty car, there has been more than $100,000, euros, drachmas, whatever's worth of investment. I just drinking water, brother. Just drinking water. I had a treatment today, not a chemo treatment, but a treatment. You got to understand there's so much that goes on. It is discussion of what scale, what products, how you market. On the flip side, the cost, how you're going to be able to pay for the thing, if you're going to pay a flat fee for the license, if you're going to how you're going to do the licensing, who you're going to have to talk to get to the licensing. I've been involved in all of this. You have to go through everything, has to be approved. When you do box art, there is initial box art approval. You send that package box art approval, just the elevation drawings of what might work. All of those logos, every color has to be approved. Positioning, the size of the logo, the size of the warning labels have to be approved on every box, front, back, sides, visual, unvisual. Don't blow. I'm not blowing a gasket. I'm just telling you the way it is, brother. You have to have all of this approved for the car, for the models of every car. You have to send the line drawings with the colors or every car to get pre-approval. Then it's first approval. Then how do you get that job for marketing? For NASCAR, you don't want this job. Jesus, no thank you. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, no thank you. You have to approve each step of the process of the car has to be approved. The drawings have to be approved. Then you do the first initial deco sample have to be approved. I have some of these things here from different parts of the process, from different projects that I could maybe show. I think I've done this years ago or when I first started the channel, but kind of show you the steps of the process and what each of those steps look like. You have to do the drawings, which I've shown. And no, I know, Marty. So then you send those to NASCAR, the drawings. Then NASCAR sends it back and says, okay, well, this is right, this is right, this is right, but these 5 things are wrong. Change these. You resubmit that. NASCAR approves it. The team approves it. The driver approves it. Each step of the way has to approve it. GM will have already signed off on the shape of the body. They probably would send you the CAD file for the body. So then you would start the process for the body mold, the chassis mold. Then you would do an initial hand sample. That would be a hand sample done in China, of course, or maybe Vietnam. I don't think Carrera will have moved anything to Vietnam yet. I know Skelectric is working on moving some production to Vietnam for cars and maybe sets, but Carrera is still China. So you send those to your people in China to get a hand sample done. That looks like basically a finished car, but it's done by hand. You'd get maybe, 2 or 3 or 4, however many NASCAR needs. Plus, you need at least 1 or 2 for an in-house sample so your designer can see it, so they can refer to it, so your artist can refer to it. I've had a number of those in my hands as well. And in my collection, I have a couple of those as well. The hand samples, you send a hand sample or usually 2 to NASCAR that then don't get returned. They probably get thrown away. Those are the really highly treasured, like first sample prototypes. Again, I have a couple of them. Then NASCAR would probably approve those. Then, if all of those get approved, then you get the pre-production sample. That is after you've set up all the tampo printing, all of the actual process of making the car. You have a couple run, like maybe a dozen or a case. For Carrera, I think a case is 9. I think it's 18, 3x3, one level, 3x3, two levels. I think that's 18 cars. 3, 6, 9, two levels. Yeah, I think it's 18 cars. Anyway, whatever it is, it's a certain number of production samples of a car after you get the process set up. That process can be a problem, as we know with the Bass Pro Shops cars, where they pulled out the wrong windshield to put in the smoke car or the other car, the Tony Stewart and Jesus, I think it's the treatment starting to fade a little bit. They got the wrong windows in the wrong cars, so we had to get an entire run of Bash Pro Shops cars done in a week, sent from China. I happened to be there when they were taken off of the truck. The skid was pulled back out. Harvick, exactly. Thank you. We unpacked them, made sure that they were the right car. It was the Bass Pro Shops cars. So, because it was a Bass Pro Shops set that Carrera did. Technically, Bass Pro did. We didn't house any of the Bass Pro cars. The Bass Pro cars that was a direct license from Carrera, Germany, to Bass Pro that kind of excluded NASCAR to an extent and excluded Carrera of America entirely. They were sent directly from China to Bass Pro distributors. It wasn't technically a Carrera release. It was made by Carrera, but not distributed or marketed by Carrera. Most folks don't understand the difference, but that's the fact of the matter. So that's basically the process, what I described in the last, 10 or 15 minutes. It's a very cumbersome process. That's why it takes about a year. Also, a little bit of news. This was finalized in the last 3 weeks. I think I was told 2 to 3 weeks. I was told, and for 2024 and 2025, and beyond that, we're not going to worry about that just yet because whatever. So that's the process. This deal was finalized within the last 2 to 3 weeks with Carrera and NASCAR, or Carrera and Hendrick, I should say, and NASCAR. And that's why a new mold for Carrera is almost always a fourth quarter release for Carrera. Almost always. Do not expect these cars earlier than December 2024. I am told December 2024. I will be able to see box art. Yay, box art. I'm always excited about box art. I'll be able to see box art and car art when I am in Toy Fair. I don't know that I'll be able to get there tomorrow, but maybe I'll get there. It's depending on if I wake up and feel okay. Because like I said, I got the treatment this morning. I slept a little bit. And if I wake up and feel good tomorrow, I'll leave tomorrow morning. And maybe I'll be able to get there tomorrow evening. I'm going to do the news dressed in strangely something that looks very similar to this in a couple minutes. And I'll do the news for tomorrow. I'll probably be doing that today because what time is it? 3:30. Yeah. I'll probably be doing that. Probably be doing the news today and uploading that for tomorrow morning, for tomorrow afternoon, like I usually do. But so, there's a whole lot to this process, guys. That's why, all of these steps, as that numbskull earlier called it, the BS. This is the process that you got to understand that all the companies go through. and Harry knows this, and anybody at who might be in the channel from another company knows this. It's a long, expensive, cumbersome process that's fraught with peril. You can screw something up point, at any point, and muck this up for months. It is just a nightmare, frankly, in a good way, to really get into this kind of a process. Um, and it is so emotional and it is so time consuming. And if you're committed, you know, to doing this like as a job, you live this stuff because it just takes up all of your time for months and months, and just it's so hard to do this, but it's like the best fucking job. I'm just gonna say it. I Yeah, exactly, Harry. I'm Yeah, I mean, it's the best job, and it's why it was just like it's just so fulfilling. It's so awesome when you get a project done, to get it out there and to just like see the reaction. Um, it just, it's why it's one of the reasons it's one of the only reasons I miss working for a company, is just seeing the process through and getting everything done, and doing your best, and doing your best to make sure that people understand why you've done what you've done what you've done. And it's just, oh my god. Yeah, and as Harry says, seeing people play with it, and there's a guy that's still on from time to time, Fred, and he would play with his grandson, and just seeing him play with his grandson, oh my god, the slot cars, it just means the world to you when you're working at these companies, and the time that you put into it. Yeah. um it's great stuff. It really is great stuff. So, um for some reason live chat was not updating. Oh, on your stream, Marty. Okay, yeah. You have to have a live chat. The settings here are not terribly intuitive on YouTube. So, yes, to fingers. The it's definitely exhausting process, and it just takes so long to get it all done. But it's just so satisfying to see a complete project, like a project like this. This is why I went through all this BS that network was talking about. It's like, dude, there's so much that goes into just a license with one company, right? There's going to be so much that they will have devoted time and energy and thought and negotiation. It's like you just don't throw money at somebody and say, "Here, let me do NASCAR." That's it, and then NASCAR's come out 6 months later. It's just Jesus. It is just the work that goes into this is just it's profound. Um, and I'm glad that they've done it. I was skeptical, of course. You all know, if you hang around this chat, my videos for any amount of time, you know that I was extremely skeptical that we would ever see NASCAR. I shouldn't say ever, that we would see NASCAR again in the near or whatever. I'm parsing as many words as possible here, obviously, and I'm happy to say I was wrong. I mean, they've done it, or they will do it. They haven't done it yet. They will do it. I have every confidence they will do it. I wanted to give you folks the contours of what I believe this will look like. So again, to go over it, I believe we'll see 3 go sets there. I will believe on Saturday or maybe tomorrow, I will see box art for as many as 3 go sets. I doubt we'll see more than that. I think we'll see an analog set. I doubt we'll see 2. I think we'll see 1. I'm sure we'll see 1 digital 132 set. I am reasonably sure, 95% sure, let's call it. We will not see digital 124 ever, but we will see 2 to 3 cars initially, and then maybe a fourth car as a set only car in one of or both of the 132 sets, the digital and the analog set that I am predicting. Those are the predictions. Let's see if I'm right. 3, 1, and 1. 3 car releases, one set only car. That's what we're seeing for digital 132. 3 go, 1 analog set, 1 digital set, probably 3 initial release cars. There we are. I think we'll see all of that for 2024. For 2025, we know I have confirmed we will see more new cars for 2025. We will see, what we will ask. We'll dovetail in with all of my notes here. I'll ask about all of these things probably. Whether they can be forthcoming about all of or any of this, we will see. I am not going to put them on the spot about a lot of this stuff because I know in a situation like this, why would I not put them on the spot? Because I know it doesn't serve any purpose. They will tell me what they can tell me. They will tell me what they can't tell me off the record. They won't tell me what they can't tell me. And that's what they'll tell me. I'm full of it today, aren't I? I'm absolutely full of it. Too much water. But yeah, I know I will have time for not only Carrera, but I will have time for Scalextric, time with Scalextric as well. I will be talking with Justin. I believe they're going to have a big contingency of people from England that are coming over. 6 to 7 people, 5 to 6 people, a bunch, more than they've literally ever had from Scalextric, will be coming over. I am hopeful we will see actually new things, not just what's happening for the balance of this year, but maybe something for 2024. I am hopeful. I don't know if I know of anything for 2024. I doubt I will be able to. I doubt I would be able to talk about it if I do find out for something. NorCal asked, does Carrera give media advance info via NDAs? NorCal, it's not a formal NDA. It's just, and hey, this is off the record. I can tell you, like they told me about the NASCAR. Well, they didn't tell me specifically NASCAR. He told me uh, 3 or 4 months ago, and I wasn't able to talk about it, of course, because this is part of being kind of on the inside or being connected with people, knowing people. They will tell you things that are off the record, and you will hold the information. You form your thoughts, and by the time you can go on the record with it, you have a video like this where I can talk for an hour and a half about all of my experiences and about what I expect we will see. I have signed a number of NDAs with General Motors, where I flew to Detroit one day to see. I saw it was the C7. It was the C7, and it was the Carbon 25. I have a T-shirt that I got. It was a trim package for the C7 that they were going to be doing, and they also showed us the Cadillac Le Mans prototype car, the LMP. They showed us renderings of the LMP that they were going to do, and that was something that was like 6 months before anybody saw it. I saw it. I saw photos of it and renderings of it. And that was really cool. And I had been to GM a number of times, and you go to the design center in Detroit and you leave it's really funny actually, because they take your iPhone and you leave it in like a locked area at the media entrance, but they also put like a sticker over your camera on your phone, but you also then leave it there, which I thought was kind of odd. I tried to save the sticker, but it was like a one-time peel up stick. Anyway, that was kind of funny. But then you sign an actual NDA, and they will come after you. I saw a couple cars there, sort of half hidden under tarps that were really cool. One that shit, I'm gonna skip these ads. One that may have been a Corvette prototype or some kind of prototype. It may have been it may have been a C8 prototype because it was a very weird looking. It was under a tarp at the design center. There was 4 cars all under tarps. One was a truck for sure, and then one was obviously a sports car of some sort because it was stupid low. It was like C8 low, and it wasn't a shape of a car that I'd ever seen before. One was a Camaro that it was an old, like a 70s or mid late 70s, early 80s Camaro show car that I hadn't seen before. It was probably one of the GM collection or something. So you get to see kind of oddball stuff that you can only see, you can't report on. And this was years ago, so no NDA. What the heck was going on my porch out there? I got squirrels and chipmunks. No, it wasn't this. It wasn't a Fiero 2. I wish. This was years ago. Okay, so Darren, so Carrera's been the once a year new release outfit for releases, whereas Drip News when it becomes available. So they want to promote. So at the beginning of the year, they promote what they can with pictures of what they can of the renderings that they're allowed to show, that the licensors will let them show. If they can show a mock-up of a car, that's what the artist rendering, that's what they'll show. If they show a picture of a real car, that's what they're allowed to show. If they can't show anything because they don't know exactly what the livery is going to be, they put the car under the generic tarp. So that's why they show what they show. They don't do it to try to be cute or to try to make you wait or whatever. It's all licensing. It's what the company, because Carrera only do licensed cars, it's what the company will allow them to show that they're doing the licensing through. That's why you see what you see. And that's why you only see what you see, is because that's what the company will allow them to show. And that's why other companies that don't do licensing will just say, hey, at the beginning of the year, we're going to do these 12 cars. Here are all the pictures. Most companies don't do licensing. So that's why, it's like, yeah, exactly. No pie. You get pie when we give you pie. Yeah, no problem, Darren. I'm explaining why. And this, another reason why I like doing kind of in the weeds, as the guy called it, BS, about this kind of thing. When you talk about the inside of the business, it informs folks like you why you get what you get when you get it. You get as much as they can show. Like people, I'm sure people are going to say, Jesus, I've been talking for a while now, by the way. People are going to say that too. People are going to say, Carrera only had pictures to show Dave Saturday, this coming Saturday at Toy Fair, because that's all they can show at this point. They just got the license finalized 2 weeks ago. They don't have any models done yet. They may have gotten the CAD files from GM because they're doing the Camaro. They may have gotten the color renderings for all the design contingency logos, the Pantone colors for every color on the car. They're going to be going like hell, frankly, to get all that done as soon as possible, because it's September now. They put the catalog together. Probably many companies won't be doing a print catalog next year. You heard it here first. Probably maybe all of the companies won't do a print catalog. They will just do PDF, which is frankly better, I think. So they need time to put those catalogs together. They need, like, literally now is when they do the catalogs. It takes months to get the catalogs right, because when you see a screw up in a catalog, how much fun you have saying, oh, well, they screwed up again. Why can't they ever get anything right? I can do their job better than they can. No, you can't. you'd screw up stuff just like everybody else does. Everyone are people. Everyone makes mistakes, despite what everyone thinks. um, so they're going to try like hell to get everything done as quickly as possible. They will not have functional samples for months. I do think that because of me going through the process, working with Carrera, um, they will maybe give myself and some other YouTubers out there, some other committed, friendly, good-hearted folks. They'll give us a look at what this looks like early in the process. I think we will see early in the process what the cars look like, what the molds look like. I have every expectation that as soon as we have something, Carrera will share that with me and with other people. I'm sure of it. Carrera are pretty forthcoming with that kind of thing. It's in their best interest to be that way. I think they will do that. I think they need to do that. I will, just so everyone's clear here, I will impress upon them the need for spare parts. We need tires as a distinct part, 4 tires, front and rears, in a plastic bag as a part. We need front and rear axles as a part, minimum, for sure. Do we need anything else? 100%? They already do motors. They'll already do braids. Front and rear tires is a distinct package. Axles as a distinct package. I will be very clear about that with Carrera. Carrera, if you're listening, just please do that now, and let's not have too much of a discussion about it, because you need that. Everybody here who will watch this knows that you need it. Just do it, please. And as soon as they have a functional prototype or 3D print, they will probably post photos of that or send photos out to people. I will press like hell to get a sample of anything, functional sample, early. Will I get that? Probably not. I have no expectation of that. I actually did a video about that, NorCal. I'd be happy to talk about that at another point. I love talking about my position as a photographer, and obviously talking slot cars as I do for more than an hour. Yeah. There are plenty of companies that need to do parts, but so I think we will be updated along the process regularly. It's in Carrera's best interest. Carrera know that, and I'm sure, I am pretty sure we'll see this process clearly. I'm sure it'll be a nice model. I'm sure of that. Carrera do very good job with modeling. Yes, the car will be a little heavy. That's appropriate. It's a NASCAR. But I'm sure it'll be a very nicely done model. And I'm sure it'll be a reasonable price. I'm sure it'll be available as soon as they say it will, or thereafter. uh, and I'm sure it'll be an excellent finish car that'll be excellent value for money, run very well out of the box, run as nice as it needs to out of the box. I'm sure there will be 3D printed chassis for it within weeks or week after this. All of these things are going to fall in line, guys. All of these things are going to fall in line. They won't end up being digital or go only. Richie Gioni. Oh, I'm sorry if I butchered that. There will be 132 cars. They have said that in their press release at PR Newswire. Harry posted the link at the beginning of the stream. It is 132 and 143, and I'm calling it right now. There will never be 124. I'm be happy if there will be 124, but there won't be. So yeah, I wanted to do this video because I wanted to get ahead, or I wanted to pull back expectations a little bit, because I think it's getting a little, I don't want to say out of control, because I know people get excited. Hell, I get excited about this stuff too. I'm in the hobby too, guys. And it's important that we understand, that we look at the public facing stuff that we know Carrera have done in the past. It's all out there. And I have experience in doing this firsthand, first person experience, not secondhand. I didn't hear this through people. I've been at the meetings. I've led the meetings to a certain extent. Um, I've researched this now for 3 companies. So I'm in a fairly unique position to be able to talk about this. And, you know, it goes through more than a decade of doing this every couple months. Hey, should we do NASCAR comes up at these companies. It always did at SCX, at Carrera, at Skelectric. It always came up. It's always in the conversation. It's always in the mix, whether it's talked about publicly or not, and it's not. Um, it's always there, always discussed. So that's why I wanted to do this video and kind of, manage expectations and not managing expectations because it's not me that's doing it, but just kind of lay out kind of what we should expect. All right. Um, I do want to thank Travis. Thank Travis for giving me a shout in his video today. Um, yes, thank you. I appreciate that. I do plan on leaving tomorrow morning for Toy Fair in New York. I just had another treatment today. It's something like chemo, but not exactly. I don't know how I'm going to feel tomorrow. I feel fine today. Now I just had it this morning. It was 4.5 hours of being cut up. I'm all. I got a huge. They had to stick me a bunch of times to get in. These ones didn't work. I had to go through there, and they tried to do through here too, and not a lot of fun. So I'm leaving tomorrow. I'll be there Saturday. I'll be there all day Saturday, and probably coming home Sunday in the afternoon. I wanted to give a huge shout out to the folks that actually did. There were some donations. One guy, and I forget his name here, and I can't go back through, gave me $100. Holy shit, man. Thank you so much. It's going to be a costly thing. I believe that LEB is maybe going to help me with some of the cost. They're the channel sponsor. As I said at the very beginning of this, it is with their help that I do this, their support, not just the financial stuff, but they're good people. They support me. We're friends. We support each other emotionally and and business wise, personally, however you want to put it. It's like we're all part of this, guys. We're all part of this, and yeah. So thanks a lot. Big shout out to everyone who's sent a donation. It really means a lot. I'm just here doing this myself. My family are going to go with me. They're going to be there for one night. It's near. We're going to stay near New York, right where, well, in New York, but New York, not New York City, near where we used to live, where my son was born. He's a New Yorker too. I was born in Manhattan on the Lower East Side. I'm from New York. So they're going to actually go with me, and it's going to be a little bit of a long weekend. So, and we need that. We've had a lot of issues with family issues with my father-in-law. My wife's still getting over that, and my health has been an issue, and a lot. So it just suffice to say it really does mean a tremendous amount to have the folks show up for almost 2 hours now of just little old lumpy man sitting here talking about toy cars, and the folks that support me online. I don't just say that, it really means quite a bit. So thanks everybody. I will try to get out a video or two while I'm in New York, just like a little short here and there. I will be doing longer total runtime videos, sit down interviews with Frank Tyson from Carrera, Thiessen, sorry, I think it's Thiessen, from Carrera of America, the president of Carrera of America. I will be doing interviews with probably Justin and some other people with Hornby, Skelectric, Corgi, Airfix. I will be talking about the complete range of what they do, not just slot cars, by the way, as well as Carrera Ravel. I will be doing that. I'll be talking about with the Ravel-minded folks there about the models that they're going to be doing. about a lot of stuff. So it's not just going to be slot cars. It's going to be a lot of different things. And as the finger said, I wanted to come in, do this video today, this live stream, answer questions about it's a hot topic. There's a lot to clarify and about what we will and won't probably see and what we definitely won't see and what we hope to see. We'll see what we see. See you soon.